all steroids, and they're all, basically the steroid is the original sort of form, and all these hormones develop from that, and they're just different bonds that create the different hormones. So, of course, as you increase your testosterone levels or increase hormone levels, you're going to get increase in your other hormones as well, particularly estradiol. So I think, one issue in order to keep your estrogen levels down without an aromatase inhibitor, you may need to dial that down a little bit, and you may see that you're getting less conversion to estrogen. We also know that testosterone levels convert to estrogen in fatty tissue or adipose tissue, and so certainly weight loss is another way to prevent that conversion of testosterone to estrogen.
Okay. And I saw there was a question around SHBG being high. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, so we'll table that one for the moment, but I promise we'll come back to that. So, again, I mentioned before that testosterone affects muscle growth through this anabolic pathway and improving strong bones and muscle. And as we mentioned before, we know that as we age, our testosterone levels go down, but there are definitely going to be a significant number of men that really the numbers are going to be even lower than would be ideal or be truly healthy. And in those people that get identified that way, with low numbers, then improving testosterone levels can help sort of reverse the cycle, lower the body fat, increase the muscle size, increase bone strength. So can bodybuilding cause low testosterone levels? Well, interestingly, there actually can be a bit of a bump in testosterone with weight-bearing exercises, transiently, sort of at the time or soon after the exercise. But it's certainly excessive exercise, to supreme fatigue and things like that could begin to lower testosterone levels, in and of itself. Although, and Greg, I'll let you step in on this, but that's not likely the reason somebody's walking in with really low testosterone levels.
No, I mean, listen, I'm a big believer in moderation. I believe in working out. I believe in exercise. I believe in a good diet and exercise. But anything, no matter what you do in life, to extreme is not going to be healthy for you, and it's going to affect your body in a lot of different ways. It's going to put a lot of stress on your body in a lot of different ways. And as you put stress in your body, you're going to interrupt and disrupt a lot of your hormones and other factors. So you just have to be, there are folks out there, obviously, that are elite level athletes that do this professionally. But for the average, weekend warrior that works out on a regular basis, if they start working out too much and they're not doing that as a professional, they're probably going to, impact and hurt themselves and see some other issues that are going on.
Thank you. There was a question about the lab report from Let's Get Checked. So androgen-free index is reported. It doesn't get into the weeds around sex hormone binding globulin and things like that. But you're asking, the question in the chat was asking, is it meant to bring, the report meant to bring to your practitioner? The answer is yes. It is something that, you can download in a PDF and bring to your primary care physician or your endocrinologist if you're working with one of them. This is actionable data and meant to be actionable data. And I would say the true is really of all of the panels that we offer. These are results that you should be able to walk into your doctor's office and show them and be able to use as actionable information. So I hope that helps. All right, let's go on to our next slide. So Greg, I'll pass this off to you, which kind of gets a little bit more detailed about how to, sort of promote and maximize.
Great, thanks. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get the most out of your workouts. Let's go to the next slide. So how can you get the most out of your visit to the gym? So I think, as I was just sort of alluding to it a little while ago, I think you want to work out regularly. So if you're working out once a week for 3 or 4 hours, you're probably not going to see as much benefit unless if you're working out, every day or every other day. I mean, you need to give your body time to recover. You need your muscles to recover, your lungs to recover. So, you have to do everything in moderations, but working out regularly is going to be better than working out once a week or once a month. That's for sure. Obviously, you want to keep yourself well hydrated. Drinking water throughout your workouts, you're going to expend a lot of energy. You're going to sweat a lot, and you need to make sure that you're keeping your organs healthy, and water and hydration is super important in that regard. Protein-rich foods are great before you sleep. It's going to help your body recover. It's going to help your body build protein and muscle back, and that's what happens at night. And you should never really work out on an empty stomach. The best thing you can do is get a little carbohydrate. I like to, put a little peanut butter before I go work out. Get a little sugar in the body. It really gets your body revved up. It gets your metabolism going, and it's going to give you a better, more effective workout. Even if you're trying to lose weight. I mean, I know a lot of people go on carbohydrate, free diets or high protein diets, but again, you have to have some moderation in there. You can't eliminate everything and go all in on something else. And you want to make sure you're getting enough sleep. And then as far as your testosterone level, again, this is a piece of the pie. You'll notice it's not the first thing on the list here. It's not the only thing. There are about 6 or 7 things on this list here. And so testosterone, I look at as a piece of the pie here. Do I think everybody needs to know their testosterone level before they go work out in the gym? No. But if you're doing a lot of these things, you're doing in moderation, and you're not seeing quite the results that you're looking for or hoping for, it could be testosterone related, but it may not be. And that's where knowing your level and getting a let's get checked is a simple, easy way to get that number. Next slide. So how can you build muscle with low testosterone levels? Well, again, you have to be careful when I say low testosterone. There's a big range of testosterone. The levels range anywhere in some labs from 250 to about 1100 or 850. And you can vary, from day to day, week to week. The time of day that you get your levels checked is going to vary as well. So I sort of think, again, going back, you want to make sure you maintain a healthy weight. So weight gain, as I alluded to, the testosterone levels can convert to estrogen levels in the fatty tissue. So you want to maintain your weight, which is going to be good for your bone and bone preservation. It's going to be good for your testosterone levels. You want to exercise regularly, as I suggested in the previous slide. The protein-rich foods, again, are going to help with your muscle recovery, sleep, and moderate your alcohol intake. That's a lot of carbohydrates there, a lot of calories. So that's going to certainly affect your workouts. And then avoid smoking, and that's sort of a no-brainer. Just for a whole host of health reasons, you should avoid smoking. What about your diet to help with the gym performance? So, everyone's different. As I've mentioned already, there's really not a one-size-fits-all diet when it comes to nutrition. So, have to be careful. Again, you don't want to put yourself in a deficit of something that you might need. To find out if your diet's giving you what you need, I would, regularly check your micronutrient levels. This can be done. There's, some testing that you can do here. Let's get checked with your primary care doctor. Oatmeal is a great breakfast for those who are active to give you a little energy pre-workout. That's that carbohydrate that I was talking about. It's going to get those sugars. The cells like the sugars. It's going to give you a little pep. It's going to pump you up. It's going to get your blood glucose levels up as well, and get you focused on your workout. Green vegetables are rich in iron, which also help with muscle and gym performance. Bananas are going to give you some electrolytes in terms of muscle recovery and reducing cramps. And then almonds are going to give you a quick little boost of energy as well because of their high protein level. It's no surprise that really protein is key. Food sources such as beans, peas, and lentils, whitefish, and Greek yogurt are great for protein. So I think as you look at the slide, and what I think about is you really have to have a well-balanced diet. I know there are a lot of paleo and South Beach and caveman type diets that people swear by, and they might work for somebody. But I think if you look at the natural history of diets, it generally works for a while, but a lot of times people will go back once they stop doing it to what they were before. So if you just kind of have a moderate diet, a balanced diet to begin with, and you moderate your total calories that are going in, you're probably going to do better to kind of control your weight and be healthier. So what about supplements? So if you have a vitamin or a mineral deficiency that's identified by your doctor, then you might want to consider supplements. Your body's pretty smart. So if you're taking vitamins, every day, a multivitamin, that's great. Your body's going to retain what it needs or what you're lacking in, and it's going to get rid of and excrete whatever you don't need or whatever's extra. But certainly if you have a deficiency, you want to make sure you're replacing that. And again, most people are going to get a pretty balanced vitamin and minerals if they have a pretty well balanced meal. You know, for folks that are vegans or that don't eat meat, they might become a little deficient in vitamin B12. So it is important to know some of your vitamin and mineral levels so you can make sure you're not lacking in those. Testing is a great way to check that out, and you know, just as long as those are normal and replaced, then it's going to help your workouts as well. Next slide. How to spot low testosterone. So that's a great question. Let's go to the slide here. So, you know, low testosterone, there's not a simple, I mean, you can check a level, but getting a level doesn't always mean that that's clinically relevant. If you look at a lot of the things on this slide here, lowered sex drive, a decreased semen volume, difficulty achieving erection, increased body fat, loss of muscle mass, fatigue, hair loss. These can be signs and symptoms of a lot of other medical conditions. They can be normal signs of aging. They can be signs of depression. They can be signs of side effects from other medications. So there's a host of, you know, symptoms here that can be associated with low testosterone. If you're experiencing them, obviously it's one thing to get checked, but I don't know that it's going to be the holy grail that's going to fix all of these things. But it is important to know. So these are some things that can happen. But could be signs of other things as well. So, you know, I see plenty of patients in my practice that come in with some of these symptoms. A lot of times we'll check their testosterone levels and they sometimes are normal, and sometimes they're not normal or they're low. And we just sort of approach each case individually. It's not a one size fits all. Next slide. So testosterone deficiency, what can cause low testosterone? We talked about aging, right? So your testosterone levels are going to go down about 1% per year after the age of 30. So aging by itself is going to cause lower testosterone, but stress is going to cause that as well. Remember, we talked about testosterone as a steroid hormone. We talked about cortisol a little while ago, and stress can affect your hormone productions. Obesity, we talked about with the conversion of testosterone to the estrogen. So that can lower your total testosterone levels. If you have injury or infection of your testicles, that's going to impact your testosterone levels as well. Chemotherapy or radiation treatment, which can have secondary effects on the testicles and testosterone production. Genetic abnormalities such as Klinefelter's, which is where you have an extra Y chromosome. Hemochromatosis, which is an iron storage disorder. And then pituitary glands, which is a little gland that sits in the base of your brain. And then diabetes. So again, there are a lot of things that can cause impacts on your testosterone. And I think it's important to know that, you know, your level today may not be the same level tomorrow. It may be different 2 weeks from now. And so if you do get it checked or you're worried about your levels, I never make a decision on a single testosterone level. I always check at least twice. And if they're vastly different, I'll even get a third level. And I always make sure to check them in the morning. Testosterone typically follows a circadian rhythm, which means it fluctuates throughout the course of the day in 24 hours. So for people that have normal sleep-wake cycles, so they work during the day and sleep at night, your testosterone levels are typically going to peak in the morning, and they're going to be lower in the afternoon. And so it's ideal to check your levels when they're highest in the morning. That's going to give us an accurate representation of what your true testosterone levels are. 50.